Good morning, Mr. Chair. I move to dispense with the calling of the roll, Mr. Chair.
Second. There's a motion by the Honorable Fresnedi, duly signed by the Honorable Gatchalian, that we dispense with the calling of the roll. Is there any objection? Chair hearing none, same is approved. The next, before we proceed, may I first acknowledge guests who are members who are present here this morning from the minority. From the minority, the gentleman from the Akbayan Party List, the Honorable Jose Manuel Tadeo Chel Jokno, welcome po. The Honorable Franz Vincent Legaspi from the Party List Pinoy Workers, the Honorable the lady from the 2nd District of Cavite, the Honorable Lani Mercado Revilla, the Vice Chairperson of this committee from the 1st District of Bataan, the Honorable Antonino B. Roman III, from the lady from the Lone District of the City of Calamba, the Honorable Charis Ann C. Hernandez, welcome ma'am, the gentleman from the Lone District of Catanduanes, the Honorable Leo R. Rodriguez, the gentleman from the Lone District of the City of Muntinlupa, the Honorable Jimmy Fresnedi, the gentleman from the 4th District of Quezon, the Honorable Attorney Mike Tan, the Vice Chairperson of this committee, the gentleman from the 1st District of the City of Valenzuela, the Honorable Kenneth T. Gatchalian, the gentleman from the Lone District of the City of Santa Rosa, the Honorable Roy Gonzalez, the lady from the 5th District of Iloilo, the Honorable Binky April M. Tubas. Welcome po ma'am. I think all the members. Comsec, could you now acknowledge our guests and resource persons?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would like to acknowledge the presence of the following resource persons and guests for today's regular committee meeting. First, from the Department of Education, Assistant Secretary Janer Datukan, Assistant Secretary Jocelyn R. Andaya, Dr. Miguel Angelo Mantaring, Director for Bureau of Learner Support Services, Engineer Michael Oliver de Guzman, Director for Education Facilities Division, Dr. Gerson Marvin Abisamis, Director for Bureau of Learning Delivery, Attorney Crystal Laverne Migalion, DLLS, Department of Legislative Liaison Service. Also from the Central Office are Mr. Henrich Montijo, Engineer Marjorie Tiborcio, Ms. Lilibet Gonzalez, Miss Meling Duhig. From the Department of Education, Region 4A, its Regional Director, Attorney Alberto Escobarti is here. Also, Dr. Rosemary Torres, Schools Division Superintendent, Division of Cavite Province, Schools Division of Cavite Province. Attorney Kelvin Matib, Supervising Administrative Officer, DepEd Region 4A. Also from Region 4A, Dr. Romel Bautista, Schools Division Superintendent of Quezon, Schools Division of Quezon Province. Dr. Lorena Walang Sumbat, OIC Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Schools Division of Quezon Province. Dr. Isilin Golfo, Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Schools Division of Quezon Province. And Dr. Aris Barago, OIC Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, also from the Division of Schools Division of Quezon Province. From DepEd Region 6, Dr. Miguel Mac Aposin, OIC Assistant Regional Director. From DepEd Region 7, Dr. Fail Waris, Schools Division Superintendent of the Schools Division of Bohol. Okay. From the Department of Budget and Management, Attorney Teresa Baraan. And from the Department of Finance, Ms. Jean Ginto. Department of Justice, Attorney Ginny Rose Villano Catal, State Counsel. From the Department of Agriculture, we have Mr. Joseph Manica, Director, High Value Crops Development Program. Mr. Enrique de la Cruz, also for High Value Crops. And Dr. Allen Christian Cruz, Office of the Assistant Secretary for High Value Crops and for SAGIP, Saka Intellectual Property of the DA. From the Second Conditional Commission on Education, its Executive Director, Dr. Carol Marquis, and Attorney Simon Salinas, the Chief Legislative Officer of EDCOM 2. From the League of Municipalities of the Philippines, present here are Honorable Mayor Joris Socro, representative for Western Visayas League of Municipalities of the Philippines, and Ms. Vin Pizarro, the Deputy Executive Director of LMP. From the Union of Local Authorities of the Philippines, we have Mr. Lawrence Trinidad, its Project Development Manager. From the Department of Health National Nutrition Council, Ms. Maria Lee Alpuerto, Nutrition Officer 5, Mr. Jibsin Bandung, Nutrition Officer 2, and Mr. Arvelin Bernardo, also of the DOH-NNC. From the Philippine Carabao Center, Ms. Maria Teresa Sawit, Senior Science Research Specialist, and Mr. John Joseph Kari, also Science Research Specialist of the PCC. From the National Dairy Authority, we have Joshua Islomontad, its Division Chief. And from the Philippine Statistics Authority, Mr. John Folgito. Also from PSA are Mr. Ramel Marco Toledo, Mr. Michael Leon Taningco, and Ms. Jimalyn Junio. That would be all for now, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Comsec. Welcome po sa ating mga resource guests this morning. The next matter in the agenda is the consideration and approval of the minutes of the committee meeting held on September 15, 2025. Comsec, were copies of said minutes distributed to all members of this committee in a timely manner?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. In a timely manner, we emailed all the members of this committee and a copy of the minutes of meeting held during September 15, 2025.
Thank you, Comsec. Honorable Fresnedi?
Yes, Mr. Chair, with the certification of COMSEC that the minutes of the previous meeting are already furnished to the concerned parties, I move to dispense with the reading of the minutes and move for the approval of the same, Mr. Chair.
There's a motion by the Honorable Fresnedi that we dispense with the reading of the minutes of the September 15, 2025 meeting and that we approve the same, duly seconded by the Honorable Gatchalian and the Honorable Tan. Is there any objection? Chair, hearing none, same is approved. Before we proceed to the deliberations on bills on establishing schools divisions offices, may I first acknowledge members who are also here with us. The gentleman from the Lone District of the City of Malabon, the Honorable Antolin A. Oreta III. Welcome po. Vice Chairperson of this committee, the lady from the 5th District of Bulacan, the Honorable Agatha Paula Aguilar Cruz. The gentleman from the 3rd District of Nueva Ecija, the Honorable Julius Cesar J. Vergara. The gentleman from the Lone District of Binyan, the Honorable Arman Dimagila Jr. And of course, the gentleman from the 3rd District of South Cotabato, the Honorable Dibu S. Tuan. Welcome po. With that, we can now proceed to the deliberation of bills establishing schools divisions offices. For the information of all members, the current law of the Department of Education does not allow them to create school divisions offices. That is why members have to be the ones to file. Unfortunately, meron po tayong mga districts na may island barangays, ang dami masyado na mga schools. That is why the members are really forced to file for additional school divisions offices. With that, the first matter on our agenda is House Bill number 1910, an act establishing 2 additional school divisions offices in the province of Bohol by the Honorable Van Aumentado. The Honorable Aumentado is not present, but I understand the Honorable Gatchalian will be sponsoring said measure.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. On behalf of Representative Vanessa Aumentado, Mr. Chair, allow me to read her sponsorship speech for House Bill number 1910, establishing 2 additional schools division offices in the province of Bohol. Mr. Chair, distinguished colleagues, maayong buntag kanatong tanan. Good morning. Sorry, di ako ano. No, word per word. Okay lang. Mr. Chair, I sponsor House Bill number 1910, an act establishing 2 additional schools division offices for the 2nd and 3rd congressional districts of Bohol. This measure was approved on 3rd reading in the 19th Congress, but was not acted upon by the Senate. Today, we reaffirm its importance. Bohol's education sector continues to grow, yet our lone schools division office is now overburdened, managing more than 1,000 schools and tens of thousands of learners. This results in slow approvals, delay programs, and limited attention to the unique needs of our districts. Our teachers wait too long, our learners are affected, and our communities deserve better. House Bill number 1910 proposes creating 2 additional SDOs to make our system more efficient, responsive, and accessible. We dedicated divisions office for districts 2 and 3. Services will be delivered faster, programs implemented more effectively, and decisions made based on local needs. Teachers will experience reduced administrative burdens, and learners will benefit from a more focused and agile education leadership system. This is more than restructuring. It is an investment in the future of Bohol. Our district size, school population, and logistical realities make this reform long overdue. Colleagues, I respectfully ask for your support. Let us pass this measure and strengthen our education governance for the benefit of Boholonians. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Gatchalian. Before we proceed to a discussion on the said bill, may I also acknowledge the presence here this morning of the lady from the 6th District of Quezon City, the Honorable Maria Victoria Copilar. Welcome, ma'am. The gentleman from the Lone District of Basilan, the Honorable Ustad Yusuf T. Alano. Welcome, sir. With that, any member who wishes to clarify any matter on House Bill number 1910? If none, could we ask comments first from the Department of Education Central Office? Sino po from the Central Office? Director Joyce, before you proceed, may I also acknowledge the presence of the lady from the Lone District of the City of Iloilo, Deputy Majority Leader, the Honorable Jam Baronda. Welcome po. Yes, Dr. Joyce.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. We profusely thank the Committee on Basic Education chaired by Cong Roman Romulo for their initiative in the creation of more SDOs, not just in Bohol, but in the other parts of the country. The DepEd strongly supports the said measure, and we would like to work closely with the LGUs and congressmen those particular districts so we can make this happen as soon as the law is created. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Andaya. The next, if present also, the Regional Director for DepEd Region 7. Is the Regional Director anyone from Region 7? DepEd present. If none, from the schools Division's Office, Dr. Faye Luares.
Good morning, Mr.
Yes.
Chair. In behalf of SDO Bohol, We strongly recommend that the House of Representatives shall approve House Bill number 1910 and allocate the necessary funds for establishment of 2 additional schools division, 1 for each congressional district, thereby initiating the creation, operationalization, and full staffing of these offices. Such legislative action will institutionalize a more responsive, efficient, and community-centered education system in Bohol, fully aligned with the goals of Republic Act 9155, and by supporting the structural reform, the Congress and the national leadership ensure that every learner in Bohol receives the timely, equitable, and quality educational services that they deserve. Thank you po.
Dr. Fay, you are the current schools division superintendent?
Yes po.
Yes, so you right now you manage both districts.
Yes po. We have 58 districts, 410 schools from Congressional District 1, having 315 public schools and 95 private schools. For Congressional District 2, we have 543 schools, 475 public schools, and 68 private schools. And for Congressional District 3, we have 609 total schools, composed of 522 public schools and 87 private schools.
Oh.
So napakarami po.
Yeah. So how are you managing right now, Dr. Fay?
As of the present po, yung we empower yung mga PSDS namin kasi
Yes.
hindi kaya ng office ko talaga na mag-move out. Kasi karamihan nito, we have 124 remote schools
Wow.
composed of 75 island schools. So yung natira, yun ang last mile schools namin. So
Yes.
124 of them. So hindi talaga makaya.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Fay. Is there any other resource person present here who wishes to say anything about this particular measure? Kung wala na, what is the... Yes, Honorable Fresnedi?
Yes, Mr. Chair, after listening to the SDS of the said congressional districts and knowing the experience and the hardship, difficulties being encountered by in managing this SDS, and also with the support, expression of support from the Department of Education, I move, Mr. Chair, for the approval of House Bill number 1910. So move, Mr. Chair. Yes. With the committee report, Mr. Chair.
I second the motion, Mr. Chair.
There is a motion by the Honorable Fresnedi that we approve House Bill number 1910, including its committee report, duly signed by the Honorable Copilar. Is there any objection by any member? Chair, hearing none, same is approved. Congratulations, Dr. Fay. Congratulations rin po.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Honorable Mercado,
Mr.
Revilla.
Chair, with the indulgence of the author, would the author permit all members present to be also co-authors of the said measure, Mr. Chair?
Honorable Gatchalian. Alright. There's a motion by the Honorable Mercado Revilla, duly seconded by the sponsor of said measure this morning, the Honorable Gatchalian, that all members present this morning, if they so desire, become co-authors of said measure. Is there any objection? Chair hearing none, same is approved. Before we continue, may I also acknowledge the presence of the gentleman from the Lone District of Agusan del Norte, the Honorable Dale B. Corvera. Welcome po. Next bill is House Bill number 3987, an act creating the Department of Education, Northern Iloilo Division, and appropriating funds thereof, by the Honorable Binky April M. Tupas. The Honorable Tupas is present. If she so wishes, she can sponsor said measure.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and distinguished members of the Committee on Basic Education and Culture. This is to request your support for the approval of House Bill number 3987, which seeks to establish the Department of Education Northern Iloilo Division. The establishment of the DepEd Northern Iloilo Division will decongest the current DepEd Division of Iloilo, which faces logistical and administrative challenges due to its vast coverage stretching across coastal, upland, and island communities. The creation of the DepEd Northern Iloilo Division will bring education governance closer to our learners, teachers, and communities. It will enhance the responsiveness of basic education programs, strengthen local school-based management, and improve planning, supervision, and technical support for geographically disadvantaged schools. The immediate passage of this bill will ensure that education delivery in Northern Iloilo becomes more efficient, inclusive, and responsive to the needs of its learners. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Honorable Tupas. Any member who wishes to clarify any matter in this particular measure? If none, can we call on the Dr. Joyce Andaya again from Central RD? Natin?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have with us here the ARD of Region 6, Dr. Mark Macaposin, and also the Superintendent. May we ask that they be allowed to speak as well?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Andaya. So as requested by Dr. Andaya, may we call on the OIC Assistant Regional Director, Dr. Miguel Mac. Yes. You have the floor, Dr. Miguel Mac.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, and to the distinguished members of the committee. On behalf of our regional director, Director Cristito Eco, I wish to express support of DepEd Region 6 to the intent of House Bill number 3987. We believe in the regional office that the initiative will bring educational governance closer to the schools and communities in the portion of the province of Iloilo, and that the measure aligns with DepEd's pursuit of accessible, efficient, and equitable basic education service delivery. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Dr. Miguel. Thank you, Dr. Miguel. The next resource persons requested by by Dr. Joyce Andaya is our schools district superintendent, Miss Lini Chavez. Is that correct?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. I am the representative of the Schools Division, Superintendent of the Schools Division of Iloilo, and I am a district supervisor of the northern part of Iloilo. We are so grateful of the initiative by our beloved Congresswoman Binky Tupas of this Act 3987, creating the Department of Education Northern Iloilo Division and appropriating funds thereof, because in the congressional district, the northern part, we have 490 schools, and many schools are located in the coastal areas and island barangays. With this, the distance and the big number of schools in the northern part needs to be given a division office so that we will be have an easy access of the services of the schools division superintendent as well as the supervisors, especially in giving the technical assistance and monitoring to make learning delivery effective and more meaningful. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, ako na mag-move.
Yes. Any other resource? Yes, Honorable Jam?
Mag-move.
A motion. Wait, before a motion, any other resource guest here who wishes to say anything or comment on or oppose House Bill number 3987? There being none, Honorable Baronda is recognized.
Mr. Chair, with that, I move to approve House Bill number 3987, an act creating the Department of Education, Northern Iloilo Division, and appropriating funds thereof. So move, Mr. Chair.
Second the motion, Mr. Chair.
And the committee report?
With the committee report.
Move to
With the
approval
committee
says
report,
committee
John.
report.
And I would like also to move and approve the committee report, Mr. Chair.
There's a motion by the Honorable Baronda, duly signed by the Honorable Pilar, that we approve House Bill number 3987 together with its committee report. Is there any objection? Chair, hearing none, same is approved. Congratulations po.
Mr. Chair, since I came from the region, same region, I would like to personally co-author the said measure.
With the permission of the Honorable Tupas.
Yes, yes po.
Yes.
Mr.
Thank you
Chair.
so
With the
much.
permission of the Honorable Tupas, there is a motion by the Honorable Baronda that all members present in this committee meeting who so wishes to become a co-author becomes a co-author. Is there any objection? Chair, hearing none, same is approved. Thank you. The next matter on our agenda is House Bill number 4291, an act establishing the Tagaytay City Schools Division Office by the Honorable Aniela Tolentino. Okay, let's move on. Has any member been authorized to sponsor said measure? If none, we proceed now to House Bill number 5646, an act establishing an additional schools division for the 3rd and 4th congressional districts of the province of Quezon to be known as the Quezon Schools Division IL and appropriating funds thereof by Honorable Attorney Mike Tan, Honorable Montes, Honorable Enverga, and Honorable Arrogancia. The main author is present here this morning, Attorney Mike.
Good morning po, Mr. Chair. Sa atin po lahat, good morning. I would like to request the committee to adopt the explanatory note of House Bill number 5646 as our sponsorship speech. Allow me, however, to cite the rationale of this proposed measure. Quezon Province is characterized by a high number of elementary and secondary schools, catering to a total of 275,211 elementary learners, 229,812 secondary school students, and 7,645 ALS learners in 2022. This educational system is distributed across 4 congressional districts, each with its own distinct characteristics and requirements. These districts encompass areas with differing levels of poverty, varying degrees of accessibility, and a wide range of educational challenges. The Schools Division of Quezon is tasked with the vital mission of providing quality education to the youth of this province, but its vast scope presents considerable difficulties in the efficient management and allocation of resources. The Schools Division of Quezon currently manages an extensive educational system that comprises 773 elementary schools and 210 secondary schools. Notably, 180 of these secondary schools offer the senior high school program. The workload is immense given the substantial student population. Hence, this bill seeks to address these challenges through the separation of the DepEd Division of Quezon into 2 distinct divisions, Quezon Schools Division 1 and Quezon Schools Division 2. This separation is based on the alignment of congressional districts, with Quezon Schools Division 1 covering the 1st and 2nd congressional districts, and Quezon Schools Division 2 covering the 3rd and 4th congressional districts. Having said that, Mr. Chairman, Your Honors, I am counting on your support for the expeditious approval of this measure. Thank you po.
Thank you, Honorable Tan. Any other author who wishes to sponsor said measure? I think it suffices already, the Honorable Tan's sponsorship. Any member who wishes to clarify any matter and said House Bill number 5646? Hearing none, may we call on the DepEd Central Office, Dr. Joyce Andaya?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have with us today the Regional Director of Region 4A, Attorney Escobarte. Joining him is also the SDS of Quezon, and they will speak for the region and the division. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Andaya. First, the Regional Director, Attorney Escobarte.
With the kind permission of the honorable body,
Yes, please proceed.
DepEd regional region 4A Calabarzon fully supports this legislative initiative to create additional schools division office of Quezon Province, as we strongly believe that all the schools and learning centers will receive the kind of focus attention that they deserve, and that closer monitoring and supervision of the schools will be enhanced. We also believe that the provision of the necessary resources and technical assistance will be speedier and expeditious. With that, we fully support this laudable move to create additional division for the province of Quezon.
Thank you, Attorney Escobarte. Next is our Schools Division Superintendent from the province of Quezon. Yes, please state your name, sir.
Good morning, Chairman, Mr. Chair. This is Dr. Romel Bautista, the current Schools Division Superintendent of the province of Quezon. Having known as one of the very large division in the entire Philippines, SDO Quezon has 773 public schools, 214 public secondary schools, and a total of, to date, 475,273 learners distributed across the 56 school districts across the 4 congressional districts of Quezon. So there are several issues because of this magnitude of educational system in the province. So to address issues, we strongly support the creation of Schools Division Office of Quezon II, separating it from the province of the one division of Quezon in the province, which will comprise DepEd Quezon 1 for the 1st and 2nd Congressional District and DepEd Quezon 2 for the 3rd and Congressional District. We advocate for the creation of this separate division to ensure efficient management, equitable resource distribution, and improve educational outcomes for the learners in the Quezon province. This structural reform is necessary to address the unique geographical, socioeconomic, and educational challenges faced by the current single division setup. Number 1, vast geographic coverage. The current division spans 4 congressional districts covering almost the length of the Sierra Madre Range. Mula doon sa simula, ang boundary po namin ay nasa Bicol at nagtatapos sa Aurora Province. Kaya nasakop niya halos yung 3 region. Disparity in needs. Urban and rural areas exhibit different educational priorities, requiring tailored intervention that a single division cannot adequately provide. Enrollment and school count, as I have mentioned, 475,000, the workload and overwhelms existing personnel, affecting program implementation and learner support. What will be its benefit to the school? Reduce transportation expense kasi po napakalayo po nung Tagkawayan sa Pagbilao. Nasa Pagbilao po ngayon ang kasalukuyang Schools Division Office na magta-travel ang mga school heads para mag-submit ng mga reports for almost 5 hours. And the coverage of the payment for the transportation ay napupunta na po halos doon yung MOOE ng ating mga maliliit na paaralan. Benefits for the learner, improve delivery of services. It will foster faster processing of learner documents and quicker implementation of programs like the feeding, health services, and learning recovery programs. So, I have included in my position paper some financial implication and the proposed computation for the proposed separation. If it will be created into 2 different division offices, the teaching personnel, which is 17,117 at the present, will become 8,070 for Quezon 1 and 9,047 for Quezon 2. Tapos may mga non-teaching personnel po tayo at meron din po tayong mga teaching-related personnel na hinati namin base po doon sa kanilang assignment in terms of the congressional districts. At naisama ko na rin po doon ang sample computation para doon sa i-create na item na hindi naman po gaanong napakalaki. Dahil nga po meron tayong Schools Division of Quezon ngayon, pag hinati po siya sa dalawa, sub-personnel from the existing division will be transferred to the proposed Quezon 2. Kaya hindi po masyado malaki yung magiging manpower complement na i-create. Mga administrative na po yung mga function nila. Samantalang yung teaching at na-teaching po naman ay sufficient po sa kasalukuyan. Ganon din po yung ibang mga facilities, although nag-age na po yung ating mga facilities, yun po ang magiging concern naman.
Ready to grow your business? Download Alibaba.com and find factory level prices.
So with those things in mind, ang buong top management po ng Quezon ay kasama ko ngayon, SDO Quezon, upang ipahayag ang aming taus-pusong suporta sa paggawa ng Quezon 1 at Quezon 2 Schools Division sa lalawigan ng Quezon. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair. And
Thank you, Dr. Bautista. Dr. Bautista, you are the current Schools Division Superintendent.
Yes, sir.
So, personally, masasabi mo talaga napaka-difficult, very challenging talaga yung dinadaanan niyo.
Challenging po, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Have you visited, how long have you been SDS?
Sa Quezon po.
Yes.
For 2 years.
Have you visited all schools?
No, sir.
Impossible.
Yes. Pag kahit po isang school, isang araw ay kukulangin po yung 3 taon para mabisita lahat ng paaralan. At meron po tayong school doon, nakalalakarin ng 3 araw bago marating ang isang school sa General Nakar.
Yes.
We have to walk for 3 days para makarating doon. So, yun po ang sitwasyon. Pag tumutugtog nga po ang lupang hinirang, ay naaalala ko ang SDO Quezon dahil nandun yung sa dagat at bundok. May dagat po at may bundok tayo sa lalawigan ng Quezon na tinatravel para maabot. Bukod pa po yung voluminous documents na pinipirmahan sa araw-araw.
Thank you, Dr. Bautista.
Thank you po,
Any
Mr. Chair.
other resource guest here who wishes to say anything or any member? Yes. Sir Benjo from
Yes, sir.
TDC? Yes.
Opo, Sir, of course, suporta po kami dyan, no? Especially dun sa case ng Quezon Province. No? The same with Palawan, no? Isabela, Cagayan, yung sobrang lalaki geographically no? ng mga divisions natin at yung population malalaki rin. Pero, Mr. Chair, no? I just want to ask din, ano? Kasi meron pa po tayong mga syudad na hindi po kasali dito. No? Like, for example, Palayan City and Trece Martires. Also in Cavite. Diba? Kasi Tagaytay po yung merong bill. No? Baka ma-consider din if ever. But I understand, of course, no? It needs congressional no proposal, of course, no. And siguro, Sir, Mr. Chair, no, just want to ask din, ano, para ma-inform din kami, no, bilang mga advocates at yung ating mga kababayan, ano, kung meron bang criteria yung Department of Education po, no, or any bill or any policy na nagsasabi na dapat ganito para magkaroon, ano, nung kasi baka ang mangyari po lahat ng probinsya natin hatiin, ano, at gumawa po ng schools divisions, no, sa lahat ng probinsya, no, na pwedeng ma-qualify. Like for example, no, yung Iloilo kasi napakalaki, no, used to be the largest, no, schools division po yung Iloilo. Pangasinan ay dati na pong nahati, no, and pero ilang dekada bago tayo magkakaroon ng kasunod, no. Unlike sa BARM po, sa BARM madali nilang gawin, no, kasi they have their own assembly po, no. Pero sa atin, no, mukhang kailangan po yung iba. No, baka naman hindi naman kailangan yung iba tapos ma-push din. So just want to clarify po if there is no a policy on this. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Benjo Basa. Sa totoo po, no, under Republic Act 9155, Section 13, ang nakalagay po doon, DepEd can establish one schools divisions office per province, per city. Yun lang ang pwede nilang gawin. Hindi sila pwedeng gumawa ng 2 sa isang probinsya o 2 sa isang city. That is why in response to your query kung may guidelines, sa totoo, wala pa talaga kasi under 9155, isa lang per province, isa per city. That is why every member here has to file a bill para ma-divide o magkaroon ng additional na SDO sa isang probinsya o sa isang syudad. Sir Benjo, in fact, hopefully, after this meeting, some of the members can join us as co-authors, we plan to amend Section 13 of Republic Act 9155 to allow the Department of Education on its own, based on standards that it has, to be able to respond to problems that we are hearing here this morning. So, yun po yun. Pasensya na. Talaga ngayon, kailangan may batas per district, talaga per province, per city. But hopefully, some members will join us as co-authors to amend Section 13 of Republic Act 9155. Thank you, Sir Benjo. Yes, any more comments? Kung wala na, yes, Dr. Joyce Andaya.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. The DepEd profusely again thanks the Committee on Basic Education for the decision to amend Section 13 of RA 9155. This will be a very big help to us in determining which SDOs are congested and where help and resources can come in, so that the move towards quality basic education will somehow take root. Thank you.
Also, decentralization, also the Section 7D of RA 9155. With that, before we approve this bill or whatever, may I also acknowledge the presence of the Deputy Majority Leader, the lady from the 3rd District of Pampanga, the Honorable Mika Gonzalez. Welcome po, ma'am. Welcome po, ma'am. The lady from the 1st District of Albay, Deputy Minority Leader, Shelo Criselagman. Welcome, ma'am. The Deputy Speaker from the party list TUCP, the Honorable Raymond Democrito C. Mendoza. Welcome, sir. The lady from the 1st District of Lanao del Norte, the Honorable Imelda Dimaporo. Yes. Yes, tita. The gentleman from the 1st District of Aklan, the Honorable Jess Marquez. Welcome, Jess. And of course, from the Deputy Minority Leader, and hopefully will be our co-author for amending 9155, from the ACT Teachers Party List, the Honorable Antonio El Tino. Welcome po. With that, from the members, any question, clarification, comments?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Honorable Copilar.
Mr. Chair, I move for the approval of House Bill number 5646, an act establishing an additional school division for the 3rd and 4th Congressional District of the Province of Quezon to be known as the Quezon City Division 2nd, and appropriating funds thereof, Mr. Chair.
Quezon City?
Quezon, known as Quezon.
Okay, known as Quezon Province. All right. Okay, duly seconded by the Honorable Fresnedi. There's a motion by the Honorable Copilar that we approve House Bill number 5646 together with its committee report. Duly seconded by the Honorable Fresnedi. Is there any objection? Chair hearing none. Same is approved. Congratulations, Honorable Tan, and to the schools divisions. Congratulations po. Sige. With that, before we proceed to the next matter, again, for House Bill 4291, has anyone been asked or authorized to sponsor said measure? If none, could we ask for a few minutes suspension to allow resource persons who have no business to the next agenda excuse themselves? 1 minute suspension. Yung mga resource guests na wala naman sa kailangan pwede naman po, excuse na rin po kayo before we proceed. Now resumed. The next topic will be consideration for the consolidation of the newly referred national feeding bills to the substitute bill amending the Masustansyang Pagkain para sa Batang Pilipino Act. All members know that we have already taken up this matter. In fact, naka-TWG na ito. Yes, sir. And it will be referred back. So these bills were filed subsequent to the deliberations and the TWG. So what we have to do is to, with the permission of all authors, will be really to consolidate this eventually. But let us go one by one first so that they can sponsor it. House Bill number 5248 by the Honorable Eduardo R. Rama. Is the Honorable Eduardo Rama present or? Honorable Oreta is recognized.
Mr. Chair, good morning.
Yung una.
I would like to adopt the explanatory note for House Bill number 5646. It will serve as a sponsorship speech.
There's a motion by the Honorable Oreta, duly signed by the Honorable Fresnedi, that the explanatory note of House Bill number 5248, 5248, yes, 5248 becomes its sponsorship remarks for purposes of this committee meeting. Is there any objection? Hearing none, same is approved. Next is House Bill number 5433 by the Honorable Brother Eddie Villanueva. Honorable Oreta.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt House Bill 5433, the explanatory note as a sponsorship speech.
There's a motion by the Honorable Oreta that the explanatory note of House Bill 5433 be made its sponsorship remarks for purposes of this committee meeting, or duly signed by the Honorable Fresnedi. Is there any objection? Chairing none, same is approved. The third House Bill is House Bill number 5562 by the Honorable Agarao Jr.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Honorable.
May I make an omnibus motion, except for those authors who are present here? May I move that the explanatory note of all House bills relating to the amending of the masustansyang pagkain para sa Batang Pilipino Act be adopted as their sponsorship speech?
Yes, Attorney Mike, kasama na rin yung addendum kasi ang dami talaga eh. Meron pang addendum. Let's include the addendum to the agenda.
Including the addendum,
yes,
Mr. Chair.
There is a motion by the Honorable Tan, duly signed by the Honorable Oreta, that all bills with respect to national feeding bills to substitute the bill amending the masustansyang pagkain para sa Batang Pilipino Act, there's an omnibus motion that the explanatory note be made its sponsorship remarks, except for bills that have authors present who wish to sponsor said bill or any representative of said author. Duly signed by the Honorable Oreta. Is there any objection? Chair, hearing none, same is approved. Salamat, Attorney Mike. With that, the next one is 5641. Is the author present? Attorney, yes, present. Honorable Lani Mercado Revilla is recognized.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and to all members present in this committee, and so with our resource persons. I am here to sponsor House Bill 5641, an act expanding the national feeding program to include undernourished children in secondary schools and mandating the procurement from small-scale farmers in the implementation of the national feeding program, amending for the purpose Republic Act number 11037, otherwise known as the Masustansyang Pagkain para sa Batang Pilipino Act. Due to the expediency of time, and we have a lot of things to discuss this morning's committee hearing, I would like to use my explanatory note as my sponsorship speech and hoping for the approval of the said measure. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Mercado Revilla. The sponsorship, the explanatory note of said House measure is adopted as its sponsorship remarks for purpose of this committee meeting. Next is House Bill number 5681 by the Honorable Vargas. That is now covered by the omnibus motion of the Honorable Tan. Next is House Bill number 5689. Honorable Fresnedi.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I was requested by the author to sponsor this House Bill 5689. Mr. Chair, I just would like to manifest for the adoptions of the explanatory notes as the sponsorship speech of the author.
Thank you, Honorable Fresnedi. The explanatory note of House Bill number 5689 is hereby deemed its sponsored remarks for purpose of this committee meeting. Next is House Bill number 5718 by the Honorable Olivares. Ay na yun. What the?
Another one.
Dalawa eh. Dalawa kay Honorable Olivares. Gusto niya siguraduhin na ma-take up natin.
Ganun din yung President.
It's covered by the omnibus motion of Honorable Tan. Next is House Bill number 5800 by the Honorable Eric Goyap and Edvic Yap. It is now covered by the omnibus motion of the Honorable Tan. House Bill number 5881 by the Honorable Nina Lacson. It is now covered by the omnibus motion of the Honorable Tan. House Bill number 5838 by the Honorable Arbison. Also covered by the omnibus motion of the Honorable Tan. House Bill number 5989 of the Honorable Christine Singson Mihan. Covered by omnibus motion. House Bill number 5991 by the Honorable Christine Singson Mihan, also covered. 5992 by the Honorable Christine Singson Mihan, also covered. House Bill number 6089 by the Honorable Audrey K.T. Zubiri, also covered by the omnibus motion by the Honorable Tan. House Bill number 6240 by the Honorable Salceda, also covered by the omnibus motion of the Honorable Tan. On House Bill number 6311 by the Honorable Yamsuan, also covered by the omnibus motion. House Bill, that's it. With that, thank you again to those who sponsored and to the Honorable Tan for the omnibus motion. With that, what is the pleasure of the members? These particular measures are in the agenda to be consolidated with the substitute measure to be taken up in a few minutes, the Masustansyang Pagkain para sa Batang Pilipino Act. So is there any motion that these newly referred national feeding bills be consolidated with the substitute measure?
I move, Mr. Chair.
There is a motion by the Honorable Fresnedi, duly sent by the Honorable Gatchalian, that House Bill number 5248, 5433, 5562, 5641, 5681, 5689, 5718, 5800, 5881, 5838, 5989, 5991, 5992, 6089, 6240, 6311. This newly referred national feeding bills be consolidated with the substitute measure amending Masustansyang Pagkain para sa Batang Pilipino Act. Is there any objection? Chair, hearing none, same is approved. Thank you very much. With that, now we proceed with the consideration and approval of the unnumbered substitute bill amending the Masustansyang Pagkain para sa Batang Pilipino Act. This was already deliberated by this committee, referred to a technical working group chaired by the Honorable Fresnedi, and I understand that the Honorable Fresnedi is ready to report back on this particular matter. But before we recognize the Honorable Fresnedi, with the permission of members, may I acknowledge the presence of the Vice Chairperson of this committee, the lady from the 4th District of Bukidnon, the Honorable Arnie Lavin Roque. Welcome, ma'am. Again, welcome, ma'am. Also from the gentleman from the 3rd District of Negros Occidental, the Honorable Javier Miguel Lopez Benitez. Welcome po. With that, we now take up the unnumbered substitute House Bill number unnumbered substitute bill of House Bills number 1193, 2191, 2325, 2425, 2487, 3157, 3202, 3551, 4173, 4929, 5046, 5236, and all other measures earlier consolidated, entitled Act Converting the National Feeding Program into a National Nutrition Program by expanding its scope and coverage and enhancing its support mechanism, amending for that purpose Republic Act 11037, otherwise known as the Masustansyang Pagkain para sa Batang Pilipino Act. The Honorable Fresnedi is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chairman, I have the honor to present the output of the technical working group that convened on November 5, 2025 to consolidate and consider proposals under several related House bills amending Republic Act 11037, the Masustansyang Pagkain para sa Batang Pilipino Act. Representatives from key agencies including DepEd, DSWD, DA, DOH, DBM, DOF, ECCD councils, DOST, FNRI, NNC, NDA, PCC, PSA, LMP, and stakeholders groups participated in the discussions. The technical working group agreed on substitute bills, which consolidated and took into consideration House Bills number 1193, 2191, 2325, 2425, 2487, 3157, 3202, 3551, 4173, 4929, 5046, and 5236. The unnumbered substitute bills contains amendments to Republic Act 11037, summarized as follows. 1. It expands the supplemental feeding program to cover all undernourished children under 5 years old. The DSWD, working closely with the LGUs, shall ensure that these children receive at least one fortified meal every day for no less than 200 days in a year, as compared to the existing 120 days only. The program's funding will be regularly adjusted to reflect updated nutritional requirements issued by the NNC and the DOST FNRI, as well as inflationary factors. Each city or municipality with recognized child development centers will also receive an allowance of up to 10% of total meal cost to support distribution and other overhead expenses. Importantly, parents and parent organizations shall be engaged in planning and preparing fortified meals whenever practicable. Number 2, the bill enhances early childhood nutrition and development by directing the DSWD, NNC, and the EECD Council to strengthen the Parents Effectiveness Service Program. This ensures that families of young, undernourished children receive proper guidance on health, nutrition, and child care. The DSWD is likewise mandated to work with the DOH and LGUs to deliver essential services to children below 2 years old who are at the most critical stage of growth. The school-based feeding number 3. The school-based feeding program of the DepEd is expanded to include all learners from kindergarten to grade 3 and undernourished learners from grade 4 to 12. These students will receive at least one fortified meal daily for no fewer than 200 days. To sustain feeding when classes are not in session, the school's division offices are directed to coordinate with LGUs for continuous implementation. Similar to the early childhood component, annual adjustment in funding will be made based on FNRI and NNC recommendations. Each school division will also be allowed up to 10% of total meal cost for distribution and overhead. The program will also cover nutritionally at-risk pregnant learners, children with disabilities, indigenous learners, and students in remedial or supplementary program. DepEd shall collaborate with barangays and parents to help prepare fortified meals whenever feasible. Number 4, the bill strengthened the supplementary milk program. Unlike the current setup where the national government agencies, DepEd, and DSWD, now the DA is now the lead implementer of this program, together with the National Dairy Authority, the Philippine Carabao Center, and the Cooperative Development Authority. It will implement a milk supplementation program that includes fresh milk, milk-based products, and appropriate milk substitutes. All products used must comply with the Philippine Food Fortification Act and with Executive Order Number 51. And to ensure smooth operations, the DA will take charge of the procurement, payment, and delivery of milk supplies. Number 5, the bill enhances micronutrient supplementation led by the DOH. This includes age-appropriate micronutrient supplements for all beneficiaries and the mandatory use of iodized salt. Subject to available funds, DepEd shall provide weekly iron and folic acid supplementation to female adolescent learners, including those in the alternative learning system, particularly in areas with a high prevalence of anemia. The NNC and DOST-FNRI will guide DepEd in identifying such priority areas. Number 6, the proposal strengthened family involvement by directing national agencies and local government units to provide regular health and nutrition education workshops for parents and parent substitutes. Attendance in this workshop may be required to help ensure sustained home-based support for children's nutrition. Number 7, a provision authorizes school division offices to establish central kitchen whenever necessary. These facilities will prepare and distribute fortified meals efficiently across schools within their jurisdiction. Each central kitchen must also maintain a standardized staffing pattern based on its production capacity, with positions aligned to DepEd, CSC, and DBM guidelines to ensure safety and efficiency. Also, number 8, under a new provision, the bill boosts local agriculture for requiring that at least 30% of all supplies needed for the National Feeding Program be sourced from small-scale producers. To support this mandate, the DA shall maintain an updated registry of small-scale producers using the RSBSA Regional Beneficiary List, BIFAR, Fisher Folk Registry, and other appropriate databases. Number 9, the substitute bill further provides in another additional provision that agrarian reform beneficiaries who participate as small-scale suppliers will receive dedicated support from the DAR. This includes production and harvesting training, subsidized equipment, storage facilities, capacity building programs, and access to crop insurance and affordable credit, all designed to help them meet program requirements and increase their income. Number 10, the bill encourages private sector participation by directing DepEd's DSWD and DA to strengthen partnership with MSMEs and community-based initiatives as potential suppliers, provided all partnerships comply with existing laws and PPP's regulation. For the funding of the National Nutrition Program, number 11, for the funding of the National Nutrition Program, the bill clarifies that funding shall be sourced from the current appropriation of DepEd and DSWD and align implementation with related laws, including the new ECCD Act, Republic Act 12199, ALS Act, Republic Act 11510, Food Fortification Act, RA 8976, and ASIN Law, RA 8172. And finally, number 12, the bill includes a transitory provision requiring the DSWD, DepEd's, and DA to update their implementing rules and internal guidelines within 6 months of the law's effectivity to ensure a smooth and coordinated rollout. Mr. Chair, in view of the foregoing and the measures intended to ensure sustained, inclusive, and nutritionally adequate support for Filipino learners, this humble representation respectfully submits the aforementioned substitute bill to this committee for consideration and appropriate action. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Honorable Fresnedi. Before we proceed, may we also acknowledge the presence of the lady from the Gabriela Part List, the Honorable Sarah Jane Ilago. Welcome, ma'am. With that, did everyone understand? Okay tayong lahat? Everyone understand the universe we are talking about? Okay, if everyone, question answer na tayo ngayon kung naiintindihan ng lahat. Who can guide us first? Yung under 5 years old, ilan yung, kasi 26% of children below 5 years old undernourished, stunted sila. Clear tayo doon. So ano yung universe na pinag-uusapan natin of the under 5? Ilan ba ang ano doon? Ilan ba ang total nun? Who could respond para we are all on the same page? DSWD? EDCOM 2? Okay, EDCOM 2, the Honorable Dr. Carl Marquis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We can provide details directly on the supplementary feeding program. Ito yung 2 to 5 years old kasi yung 0 to 2 kukunin po namin yung datos. Pero yung 2 to 5, inaral po kasi namin the last 2 weeks ito because of the proposals nga po to amend the masustansyang pagkain. Nakita po namin sa datos, and this was confirmed by DSWD in our meeting last week, meron po tayong about we have about 300, out of 6.671 million 2 to 4-year-old children, there are about 373,000 who suffer from wasting. We also have a prepared slide if we could project. However, for 2024, only 159,000 in CDCs were covered by the DSWD SFP. Bakit po ganito? Kasi kahit may pondo po tayo for DSWD, ang nakalagay po sa batas, feeding for malnourished children, because nandun na po yung mga bata, we feed all in the child development centers. But of the all that were fed, only 159,000 were malnourished. This means that about 43% or 373,586 yung hindi po nasusuportahan. So ang natira po, 213,702 malnourished children are not in CDCs but don't receive the intervention. This is because of two errors. One is, hindi po nga sila nasama before yung age 2 to 3 sa batas na ngayon po kinokorek na ng bill na ito. At ikalawa, because of the IRR of the masustansyang pagkain, na ang feeding programs happens only in daycares, those that are not in daycares are not supported. So ito po yung tutugunan ng bill na ito ngayon. Kasi nga po, maraming bata na wala sa daycares, daang libo na masusuportahan na sa pamamagitan po ng amendment na ito.
Dr. Yee, what you're presenting is ages 2 to 4 lang.
Yes po. Yes
That's
po.
about 300 plus thousand.
Yes po.
Pero so yung 5 and below, which is supposed to be the coverage,
Yes, sir.
well, we don't know the universe of that yet.
We will pull up the data. We only prepared kasi po for 2 to 5 ngayon because it's masustansyang pagkain. But
Yes.
for 0 to 2, it's not just the child but also the malnourished mothers.
That's the
who
first
are-
1,000 days
Yes,
kasi,
yes
di ba?
po, yes
Pero
po.
under the bill, everyone below 5 years old, di ba?
Yes po.
We're covering. So, ano nga yung universe ng below 5? Para alam lang natin lahat kasi we don't know in fact ano yung below 5 eh. How many yung universe, baka
Let us pull up, Mr. Chair.
yes.
Mr. Chair, just a quick question while he's looking for the
Yes,
data.
Honorable Revilla.
Who keeps the data of our malnourished children ages 2 to 5 years old or 2 to 4 years old? Is it DSWD that monitors it, or is it DOH?
under the new law that we passed, the ECCD Act, the ECCD Council should be able to coordinate with all local government units. Currently, under the new law, the ECCD Council is headed, co-chaired by the Department of Education and the DILG. So kasi, in fact, before we pass this new law, yung ECCD Council, pag pumupunta dito, binibigyan tayo ng data. Yung pala, incomplete yung data. Kasi kung ano lang yung meron sila, yun yung sinasabi nila sa atin. That is why we policymakers were not properly guided. That is why that is my first question. Ano ba talaga yung universe? Because the ECCD Council already met, di ba? So dapat nag-uumpisa na sila to come up with that the data. Pinaka-importante kasi yung data, ano yung universe eh. Until we know the universe, ang hirap talaga eh. Again, baka kulang-kulang na naman ang gagawin natin. Of course, this is not supposed to be the work of EDCOM 2, but EDCOM 2 works closely with the different agencies right now while it is still in existence. So hopefully we have the numbers and then we can invite the EC Council para alam natin what are they doing, yung steps that they are doing to ensure na yung data correct na, hindi yung kulang-kulang na data.
So, Mr. Chair, I would like to reiterate, it's DILG and DepEd that has the chairs, the ECCD councils.
Yes.
Thus, they will be the head. Sila ang makakaalam ng datos na kailangan po natin. The reason why I'm asking this, Mr. Chair, I remember when I was the mayor of the city of Bacoor, we would have different data gathered by the city health office, and when I asked the DepEd, iba na naman kasi they don't do weighing of children, iba na naman pag tinanong mo yung head ng nutrition council mo. So I just want to get a uniformed setup or policy para at least isa lang yung tatanungin natin, hindi ang dami-dami nating tinatanong plus ang iba-ibang mga data yung tinatanggap
That
natin.
is exactly the reason why we passed the new ECCD Act, so that we finally will be able to get the complete data. Thank you for your question, Honorable Revilla. Before we call on Dr. Yi again, may I also acknowledge the presence of the representative from the Kabataan Party List, the Honorable Rene Luis M. Co. Welcome, ma'am. Yes, Dr. Yi, do you have the numbers now?
Mr. Chair, the total number of undernourished children or stunted children is 3.4 million.
Below 5
Years
yan.
old. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
3.4
million.
3.4 million.
Opo.
Ito, ano na to? This data is preliminary?
Preliminary data because of two things, as was mentioned by Honorable Revilla. Kasi po ang nangyayari, yung basehan po ng NNC at basehan ng ating national agencies ay ang DOST-FNRI. Ang DOST-FNRI, survey data yung ginagawa, tapos nag-run sila ng population estimates. Ibang-iba po ito dun sa Operation Timbang results. At nakikita po natin sa bawat konteksto talagang malayo. That has not been resolved, Mr. Chair.
Yes, but Dr. Yi, that is exactly why we have the new ECCD
Yes, sir.
Council, because
Yes, sir.
we recognize the fact na yung local government units are doing their jobs. Eh.
Yes, sir.
Ang problema, no one is collecting the data from the local government units. That
Yes,
is
sir.
why, in fact, naging co-chair ang DILG secretary simply because siya yung bastonero.
Yes.
Siya yung pwedeng humingi, and it's part of the SGLG. Yes, it's going to be part of that. So, kailangan mag-submit doon ng kompleto. So,
Yes, sir.
yung preliminary
Is
numbers
3.4.
niyo of stunted is about 3.4
million.
million. Sa 3.4 million, for this year, the previous years, ilan ba talaga ang natutulungan ng national government sa 3.4? Or we don't know that data yet.
Sir, yung
kanina mo, yung 150.
Yun lang po.
So ang layo natin sa
Yes,
kailangan
sir.
tulungan.
Just to explain, if you could put the slide on our conversation with DOH.
Yes.
Sir, yung DOH, meron po silang child health unit that handles the programs related to the first 1,000 days. If you see that budget, the bulk of it, 70%, goes to, can you put the slide on the DOH? Goes to immunization, which is part naman po of the first 1,000 days law.
Yes.
Pero po, pagdating sa nutrition programs, ang allocation po nila is 977 million. Sa oral health, 692 million. Nakita po natin sa data, yung nutrition programs, mahalaga po ito kasi after ng exclusive breastfeeding ng 6 months, yung tulong po sa mga bata mula 6 months until 24 months, nawawala na. And when we ask DOH, why is that the case? Ang assumption daw nila, LGU na yung gumagawa noon. So sabi namin, if that is your assumption, how did we verify? How
Correct.
do we monitor?
Yeah.
Sabi nila, wala pa raw pong nagagawa. So yun po yung challenge talaga.
Dr. Yi, under the new ECCD Act, in fact, yun talaga ang nakasulat.
Yes po.
Alam natin ang totoo na hindi naman walang absorptive capacity ang national government to do it. That is why kung hindi ka 4th, 5th, 6th class municipality, the DILG together with the other members of the ECCD Council should be able, di ba,
Yes, sir.
to monitor and to ask for data magkano ginagastos.
Yes.
In fact, all LGUs are supposed to put up their own ECCD unit na. Hindi na siya magiging part ng yung CSWD nila. That is under the new law.
Yes, sir.
That is why hopefully the ECCD Council is able to
Yes, sir. Hopefully po.
Yes,
Hopefully,
be
sir.
able to move quicker on these
Hopefully,
matters kasi medyo importante siya.
Yes,
no?
sir. Definitely.
Okay. So that covers yung 3.4 million, yun yung below 5.
Yes po.
O ngayon, part of this is also those learners who are already sa K to 6, di ba? Kasama natin dito
Yes,
sa DepEd. What are the numbers for K to 6 naman na stunted or undernourished?
May I turn that over to our director, Mr. Chair, si
Yes.
Dr. Migo.
Dr. Migo, yes. Dr. Migo.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Chair, and to the members of the committee. So our current numbers for school year, for the most recent school year, 2024 to 2025, we had a total of 3.3 million beneficiaries under the school-based feeding program for the provision of regular components, including our nutritious food products and hot meals po.
So sa DepEd, 3.3 million.
Yes.
Sa below 5, 3.4 million. So a total of 6.7 million, more or less, yung undernourished or stunted natin. Unless anyone has any other number. Inad ko lang naman yung sinabi ng EDCOM 2 at ng DepEd. So that is the undernourished stunted universe that we are talking about, 6.7 million. Okay? With that, ano lang yun? K to 6 lang yun para maliwanag tayo from the Department of Education.
Mr.
Yes,
Chair.
Honorable Roman, you have...
Yeah, I have a manifestation on behalf of Representative Brian Po. Can I read this for the record?
Please proceed.
Just bear with me. It's rather long, but please listen. Mr. Chair, thank you for this opportunity and thank you as well to our committee for its incredible and tireless work in shaping the National Nutrition Program. It is a privilege to speak in support of strengthening this bill. He's referring to the substitute bill, so that it fully reflects our shared commitment to the dignity and future of every Filipino children. Our current approach to school feeding contains a moral fault line. By dividing our learners into the fed and the unfed, we unintentionally create inequities within the very system meant to protect them. No child in a public school should ever be placed on the wrong side of that line. International experience makes this clear. The World Food Programme, or WFP, has long warned that selective feeding, especially when based on wasting criteria, can create stigma for the children targeted, turning a supportive intervention into a public marker of deprivation. And beyond stigma, targeting simply fails to capture the true breadth of hunger. Children who are not clinically wasted may still be undernourished, food insecure, or arriving in school hungry because of poverty. These are the learners who fall through the cracks when we rely on narrow eligibility rules. The evidence behind universal school feeding is overwhelming. It is not only the most dignified approach, but also the most effective and fiscally sound. Studies consistently show that every dollar invested in school meals delivers up to $35 in long-term returns through better learning outcomes, improved health, and greater productivity. When meals are universal, these gains compound and reach all learners, not just a select few. Universal coverage also brings operational advantages. It eliminates the complex and costly task of screening, validating, and tracking eligible students, tasks that consume resources without feeding a single child. By simplifying administration, universal programs generate efficiencies and economies of scale. And importantly, they better support one of the bill's most forward-looking provisions, the requirement to source at least 30% of food supplies from small-scale producers. Only a high-volume, universal feeding program can reliably sustain the demand necessary to uplift our farmers and strengthen local agriculture. In 9 municipalities across the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, and more recently in the pioneering province of Isabela, the home of our good speaker, the WFP or World Food Program has been modeling daily, universal homegrown school feeding using locally sourced ingredients. These pilots show what is possible when every child, not just the clinically wasted, is included. In Kawayan City alone, around 1,700 children now receive hot meals every day, while more than 700 smallholder farmers benefit from steady, dignified income. In Barm, over 3,200 children in Maguindanao del Norte and Maguindanao del Sur are now fed daily, supported by more than 300 local farmers. These real-world results prove that universal feeding is not only feasible, it fosters inclusivity, eliminates stigma, strengthens local food systems, and generates immediate gains in attendance, learning, and community livelihood. Mr. Chair, for all these reasons, moral, developmental, and economic, I respectfully move at the proper time to amend Section 4B and transition the school-based feeding program into a universal program for all public school learners from kinder to grade 12. And he submits, the Honorable Representative Paul submits the revision that he proposes to make in writing, and also detailing further the justification for shifting to a universal feeding program. With the indulgence of the committee, I'd like to submit the manifestation of Brian Paul for consideration of the committee.
Thank you, Honorable Roman, for that. Okay, Dr. Migo, before any member who wishes to ask any question, yung 3.3 mo, ito yung stunted or kasi yung there are different forms, di ba, of undernourished. Meron nga na excess weight, di ba? So yung 3.3 million covers what?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to clarify lang rin po. The 3.3 million I mentioned included universal kindergarten beneficiaries. So if we're only accounting for the severely wasted and wasted learners from the last school year, it's only 2.1 million learners po.
Mababa yung timbang.
Yes, correct.
How many po?
2.1 million.
2.1 million covers what again?
Severely wasted and wasted.
Of K to 6.
Of kinder to grade
Yung 3.3,
included the beneficiaries under the universal kindergarten feeding program.
whether regardless if they're undernourished. or
Yes.
not. Okay,
yes, po.
thank you. Honorable Tino, you wanted to ask?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, let me take this opportunity to commend the intervention of Representative Brian Poe as read by Representative Roman. Napakaganda po nung punto na ni-raise niya, no, na actually parang mas tama yung patakaran na universal feeding rather than feeding program para lamang sa certain segments of the school population. In this case, yung mga severely undernourished or wasted for various reasons, including, of course, meron talagang stigma, di ba? Na pagka nandun ka ay somehow or other, no, ay meron ganon. And so I am convinced that this is the correct policy na universal. Pero of course, ang magiging mga concerns dyan una, gaano karami ba talaga ang pinag-uusapan natin? Tapos pangalawa, of course, the cost, the budget, no? So isang tanong ko yon. Perhaps we can hear a response from DepEd, from EDCOM2 on this concept of universal feeding, and two, from DepEd siguro, or kung sino man ang may figures, how much would it take to fund a universal feeding program? Then as a third question, dahil pinag-uusapan natin ng feeding program, gusto ko, kung maaari lang po, ay magbigay po ang DepEd ng update on how DepEd is impacted by and implements Executive Order number 101 no, ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. This is the full implementation, directing the full implementation of the Sagip-Saka Act. In particular, meron kasing provision dito which requires that, nasa ba yun? In the implementation of the Sagip-Saka Act, sabi dito, all NGAs and instrumentalities, so that would include DepEd and the schools under DepEd, are hereby directed to ensure that rice and other agricultural and fishery products served in government events, food service areas, or canteens are directly purchased from accredited FFCEs. These are farmers cooperatives, farmers and fisher folk cooperatives, to promote the consumption of locally produced food and support small producers. So ang intindi ko po dito, yung mga canteen po, for example, mga school canteen natin ay directed through the CEO to directly purchase rice and agricultural products. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng pagkain kailangan directly from the local farmers or fisher folk cooperatives, no? Alam ko sa operasyon ng DepEd ngayon sa mga school canteens, hindi necessarily ganon, di ba? Ang purchase, nung una ko nabasa to, sabi ko nga, kung seryosong i-implement ito ng DepEd, this would require major changes to how school canteens, for example, are operated and supplied. So, baka pwedeng maglinaw din po kung paano ito pinatutupad sa DepEd.
Thank you, Honorable Tino. So again, before you, Dr. Migo, you will respond?
Yes.
But before you respond, para again, clear lang yung universe natin. Yung K mo, yung universal, that's the 1.2 million. 1.2, 1.3. Lahat yon, all students in kindergarten.
Yes.
Yes, yung 1 to 6 mo, kunyari implement yung sinasabi na all students from 1 to 6, ilan yun? Would be mga 8 million with K to 6, yung universal to 8K to 6?
I'll have to pull up the official numbers, Mr. Chair, if I can be given time lang to get. But it's around 2 million per grade level po.
Okay, so abot tayo yung 10 to 12 million. More or less. Sige. So currently, yung K to 6 ninyo na feeding program for the severely wasted, for 1 to 6, universal sa K, magkano ang ginagastos nyo? How much are you expending for that?
Our current budget, Mr. Chair, was a total of 11.7 billion pesos.
11.7 billion. That covers how many school days?
It covered 120 days of feeding with the provision of hot meals, nutritious food products, and the milk po for
yes. Now that the proposal will be increase into 200 days, at least 200 days, mag-a-adjust na naman kayo, di ba?
Yes.
So, dalawang adjustment upward, ano?
Yes.
Yung at least 200 days. And secondly, yung proposal na all learners na from K to 6, regardless of their categorization. So, kung wala kayong number now, could you submit to the committee what your estimate on that will be?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Does anyone from the resource here have the Dr. Yi, you have a number for this?
No, sir. Just to I was going to respond to the question of
Yes, the number first. Does anyone have estimate magkano kung universal for about 10 to 12 million students covering K to 6? Kung wala, DepEd, we will wait for your paper back to us. Could you respond to the other queries of Honorable Tino?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Honorable Tino. So, in response po to the status of implementation of EO 100 by the Department of Education, yes, first, we are cognizant of the fact that we do need to update our current department order on the operations of our school canteens, and we are aligning the amendments of our internal guidelines for its operations to the more recent provisions, including the Sagip-Saka Act. But in current practice, we allow for components of the Sagip-Saka Act to be implemented in the school-based feeding program through negotiated procurement community participation. So our schools divisions offices are given the freedom to procure from small-scale farmers as long as they meet these conditions within the Sagip-Saka Act.
Mr. Chair.
Dr. Migo, what about the right now yung universal feeding program will be universal for K to 3. So 4, 5, 6 na lang ang magkukulang, ano? So ano yung position niyo doon na K to 6? Kaya niyo rin po ba 'yon?
Yes, Mr. Chair, if I may read our official position. So, we are in full support for the proposed amendment to RA 11037, particularly its extension of the feeding program to undernourished learners in junior and senior high school, as current data and field experience confirm that wasted and severely wasted learners remain prevalent within secondary education, which with direct implications on attendance, concentration, and learning outcomes. Beyond expanding beneficiary coverage, DepEd emphasizes that the proposed amendments respond to long-standing operational and legal constraints encountered in the implementation of the SBFP, as articulated in our position paper. A critical issue relates to the application of cash-based budgeting, which is governed by existing public financial management rules and reinforced through the GAA, requiring obligations and disbursements to follow fiscal year timelines. And prior to the introduction of the 2-year validity provision in the GAA, this framework posed operational challenges for the SBFP because the feeding cycle follows the school year and necessarily spans 2 fiscal years, while the current 2-year validity of appropriations has been enabling for SBFP by providing greater flexibility in fund utilization and improving the continuity of our feeding implementation. We also strongly support the provision of institutionalizing and dedicating staffing and implementation capacity, including the creation or reclassification of plantilla positions and the engagement of registered nutritionist dietitians at the national, regional, and division levels. To date, DepEd only has a total of 17 registered nutritionist dietitians nationwide, all stationed at regional offices, which significantly constrains effective technical supervision, nutrition assessment, menu planning oversight, and monitoring across the public school system. With respect to the supplementary milk feeding program, DepEd supports provisions that strengthen oversight and clearly delineate the mandates of the Department of Agriculture, National Dairy Authority, and the Philippine Carabao Center, and other relevant agencies across the value chain.
Dr. Migo, alam mo, sorry pero we were getting lost in the discussion simple na lang, So, the Department of Education supports universal feeding K to 12.
Yes,
So
Mr.
that
Chair.
would be about 26 million students.
Yes.
And you're saying that aside from the fact na yung difficulty nyo lang would have been na yung budget kasi is January to December, pero inaalaw naman kayo ng 2-year to spend it. So that's why it works out. Other than that, walang ibang problema. What about a school with 10,000 students na double shift? Paano yun? Baka wala nang ginawa doon kung hindi but you're telling us kaya yun and you will not sacrifice quality education?
Mr. Chair, to further clarify, we support the vision of universal feeding and hope that this will be supplemented with the full complement budget to provide so. So in our current budget, as approved recently in the Senate, our budget was increased to 28.6 billion, now allowing for our expansion to universal grade 1.
That is correct. Pero kaya nyo ba? What about a school with 10,000 students, naka-double shift? So wala nang gagawin yung doon. Kasi there will not be enough space for a hot meal. By batches bababa lahat yun, but you are ready for that. The problem is, it's not always funding that is the problem, but also your absorptive capacity. Kaya nyo ba?
No, Mr. Chair, we cannot do it with our current absorptive capacity.
Yes, so that is the problem, di ba? Honorable Tino is proposing or was suggesting that why don't you present to this committee, pwede nyo namang i-targeted increase until you are able to build. Huwag naman just because may funding kayo, gagawin nyo. But wala rin, at the end of the day, baka it won't be implemented properly. You must have a plan. Paano nyo gagawin? Kunyari, baka pwedeng K-3 muna o K-6 muna na full universal. And then, as you build your absorptive capacity, then you can, would you have a plan that you can present this committee with?
I'll be able to submit, Mr. Chair, our progressive realization of universal feeding. But we did, as mentioned, for this school year, we started with universal kindergarten. Next
correct.
school year, we will
Until
be
3.
expanding
Under
to...
the bill, it's K-3
Yes, opo.
na universal.
Yes.
Kaya nyo rin na universal K-3. You will have no problem. Absorptive capacity-wise.
In succeeding years, Mr. Chair, as we learn from our implementation of universal up to grade 1, we will be able to slowly prepare for increasing the universe of learners to be included into the universal feeding program.
Dr. Migo, I think the committee and the members would appreciate you submitting to us some plan, program, so that we can understand better, because sayang rin naman kung pipilitin natin pero at the end of the day hindi naman pala kaya. So how long would it take you to by next year? Kasi December na rin, imposible, baka imposible na ngayon. Second week of January, would that be, or first week of January, would that be fair enough to submit some program plan on the progressive implementation of a universal feeding program?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we will submit by January a medium-term expenditure plan for the
Yes, and
universal
absorptive
feeding
capacity
program.
kung kaya ninyo.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Okay nga. Yes. Yes, Honorable Revilla.
Mr. Chair, if also DepEd can also do a computation for standard size of a canteen for specific sizes. Kasi I know for a fact, actually I asked one of my staff, how do they undergo feeding programs in public schools? Kasi wala naman talaga silang malaking canteen o komisari na bumababa ang mga bata like private schools. So ang ginagawa daw, yung teacher ang nagbibigay ng pagkain sa mga bata. And I don't know, during their experience, minsan yung teacher pa ho ang nagbebenta ng food, additional food. But irregardless of of that comment, standard design of a suitable kitchen that's sanitary. Kasi kailangan stainless yan, kailangan sanitary yung pagluluto niyan, yung food prep niyan,
Yes.
importante dahil baka magkasakit ang mga
Okay.
bata.
Dr. Migo, and I guess you can also take a look na yung current schools ninyo, kung kaya ba. Kasi I'm sure may schools na talagang wala ng space eh. So I'm wondering, with 10,000 students, how elementary po siya eh. And you're very confident na you will be able to do it. Again, ang dali nung funding eh. Pero it's the implementation. Honorable President.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Ang tanong po kanina ay yung kakayanan ng schools to handle this program. What about kung i-outsource po natin? Halimbawa, mayroong isang division, no? Anyway, we are providing 10% to the division, 10% of the budget allocation for this program. I am thinking of only para hindi na maging sakit ang ulo ng schools officials pag-handle nitong programang ito. Why not outsource this to those competent, qualified na
Dr. Migo, you understand, parang variation siya ng community kitchen, pero very specific per school, kung kaya, kung community kitchen. Kasi yung problema lang ng community kitchen for some cities in Metro Manila, yung traffic eh. Hindi talaga makaka-deliver from a community kitchen. So, kailangan malapit-lapit lang eh. 'Di ba? Opo. And yung canteen, saan sila kakain eh? 10,000 students. Meron ako mga alam na schools, wala silang capacity na ma-feed nila sabay-sabay lahat yon. So, paano yun? By classroom, yung delivery. Pag 5 floors sa 6 floors na walang elevator, yung realistic kasi, again, we can be happy with the budget, but implementation-wise, kaya ba talaga para maliwanag? Dr. Yi?
Mr. Chair, thank you for the opportunity. I guess the chair knows this, pero po kasi pag tinignan po natin yung universe ng nutrition challenges natin, yung stunting po kasi happens talaga in the earliest years of life. First 1,000 days all the way to 0 to 4. Maganda po yung konsepto ng universal feeding, pero sana po unahin yung first 1,000 days na buhusan talaga ng resources. Currently po kasi it is the most underfunded of all interventions in nutrition. Mas mataas po sa school-based feeding, mas mataas ng konti kahit hindi ganun kataas sa supplemental feeding, pero yung first 1,000 days halos wala pong pumapansin. Once a child is stunted, even if we feed a child from 3 all the way to grade 6, you can no longer reverse stunting. It is irreversible. We have missed that window already. And so I think if we have limited resources, it might be most important maybe to request for the support of all of our legislators to also champion the expansion and comprehensive supports for the implementation of the first 1,000 days law to ensure its full implementation. Kasi po, yun talaga yung pinakamahalaga sa simula. Kasi minsan po, madami sa kanila, nagpi-feeding tayo, wasted, pero hindi na talaga mare-reverse yung stunting. So yun lamang po, Mr. Chair.
Dr. Yee, in fact, the reason why we started with DepEd is I was unsure if we have any representative from the DSWD. So kung wala kasi tayong representative, yun ang mahirap, But that is correct. I think all members are aware of that, na pagka stunted or severely wasted before school age, wala na, yung recovery nun medyo mahirap na. That is why talagang dapat yung below 5. Ang problema lang talaga, walang DSWD present here this morning. So we were hoping that sana maklaro sa atin yung numbers. Pero they were present during the TWG, di ba? Nandun sila sa TWG, so at least we have the numbers there, pero mas maganda lang sana kung nandito. But again, that will be taken into consideration. Any other member, any other resource person who wants to say? Yes, the Honorable Lagman is recognized.
Yes, I was just intently listening to the exchange of information, and I do agree that we really have to focus on the first 1,000 days. When we compute the first 1,000 days, that is from conception to age 2 and 2.7. Okay. Local chief executives, sino ang pumopondo nito? LGUs. In these proposed measures, the substitute bills, sino po ang mag-a-address ng 0 to 2.7? Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Under the proposed bill, dapat national, DSWD. But in fairness, there are cities who currently waive that right kasi kaya nila. They actually spend for their constituents. So the general rule will be DSWD. It will have to come from the national budget. But we are happy that based on the data provided to the committee, maraming cities po, they waive that right and they in fact spend for that. So general rule, we want it to come from the national budget.
The national budget to the DSWD.
Yes.
Okay. Kasi sa ngayon, hindi ganon ang sitwasyon. Okay? This is under the substitute measure.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, dapat ganun na ngayon. Ang problema, talagang underfunded siya. That is why that is the appeal to us from the resource persons na siguraduhin naman na may budget yung under 5. Kasi nabibigyan natin ng budget usually ay yung, rightfully so naman ay yung DepEd. Pero pinapaalala sa atin ng champions of below 5, including the first 1,000 days law, na yun yung pinaka-crucial sa lahat. Pero parang hindi napapansin na bigyan ng tamang budget. Yun talaga yung appeal nila. Lagyan natin ng budget talaga.
May isa pa akong tanong.
Yes, Honorable Lagman.
This is regarding the report on the weekly iron and folic acid supplementation to female learners in DepEd. So this was presented by Congressman Fresnedi in the report. But medyo allergic po ako pag sinabing subject to the availability of funds. Kasi pag subject to the availability of funds, hindi talaga po yan nangyayari. And we know na nandito si Congresswoman Sara, alam naman po natin na napakahalaga talaga ng folic acid and iron supplementation for teenagers kasi sila magiging future mothers. And karamihan ng mga neural tube defects at mga congenital defects ay nagsistem because of this micronutrient deficiencies. So, Mr. Chairman, may I ask Representative Fresnedi, because he was the one who presented this, talagang weekly lang po yung iron and folic acid supplementation? Yun ba yung proposal po?
Before I call on Honorable Fresnedi, could I just acknowledge the presence of the gentleman from the party list One Tahanan, the Honorable Nathaniel M. Odocado? Yes. Also, the gentleman from the Lone District of Nueva Vizcaya, the Honorable Timothy Joseph E. Cayton. Welcome po. The Honorable the query of the Honorable Lagman, based on the report, is that weekly lang ba talaga ang requirement? Yes, Honorable Fresnedi.
Well, that is based on the proposed bill, no? But if Congresswoman Lagman would like to make an would like to make an amendment.
That was just my comment because and then DepEd kasi I think school-based. Pero ang immunization ay sa DOH and bulk ng budget talaga na pinapresent kanina, 80% na pupunta sa immunization. So Mr. Chairman, palagay ko ang mas tamang agency is not DepEd. I think it should be DOH.
Let us, Honorable
Okay.
Lagman, with your
So-
permission, could we ask DepEd, yung mga may program na ganito right now, wala?
Meron ba kayong folic acid and iron
We do have the
supplementation?
program, Mr. Chair.
You're
Honorable.
implementing it currently.
We're unable to implement it at full due to the aforementioned subject to availability of funds.
Subject to availability. Kayo ba ang nag-implement or DOH goes to, or do you coordinate to the department? Kasi yun yung point ni Honorable Lagman eh. Bakit kayo? Bakit hindi DOH?
By practice, it was coordinated through DOH since they are in charge of the procurement of the iron folic acid supplements.
Dr. Migo, yung budget is lodged with DepEd or with DOH?
With DOH po.
So DOH talaga yung budget. So DOH procures and then pag mayroon silang availability fund, they'll procure. Pag meron sila, they will now go to you and say, pwede namin implement sa inyo. But you're saying subject to availability funds, kaya hindi na-implement ng DOH sa DepEd schools natin. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, Honorable Lagman?
Do we have someone from DOH in this committee?
Who is from the Department of Health present here in this committee meeting? National Nutrition Council. Bakit hindi NNC? Meron dito from NNC? Kayo ang pinadala ng Department of Health. Is that correct? You represent the Department of Health for purposes of this meeting?
No po. We came here as a part of the resource attached agency of DOH.
Attached. Pero wala kayong kinalaman dito sa program na ito.
We don't have the data po for we are looking for the data for the weekly, the WIFA program. So that's for the DOH po.
Sige, Comsec, could we ask the Department of Health to provide us with, to attend the next meeting, and then before that, provide us with their reply to the queries of the Honorable Lagman?
Sure.
Yes. The Comsec answered in the affirmative. Kasi walang mic eh. Sorry, nasa likod eh. Yes. Nandito si Miss Arvelyn Bernardo. Ma'am Bernardo? Yes. Is Ma'am Bernardo present from the DOH? Yes, wala si Ma'am Bernardo. Would anyone know sino si Ma'am Bernardo? No one knows her. Yes, yes, NNC?
Yes, from LLD po siya. Good morning.
Yes.
Sorry. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mr. Chair. Sorry. So, si Miss RV po ay from LLD of DOH.
Yes, wala
Yes.
siya dito. She was here earlier ba? Hindi lang namin na ano?
I think po. Kasi nagko-communicate po siya sa amin.
Yes. Okay, wala si Ma'am Bernardo. Well, with that,